Hi everyone and welcome to day 4 of our Female Warriors Week. Today we're joined by 13-time world champion, actress, stuntwoman and producer Zara Phythian. Have I got that right?
Very close. Well done.
Yeah. Zara, if you'd just like to give our audience a little bit of background on your martial arts and how you first started.
Sure. So hopefully we've got a decent connection. I know I'm freezing a little bit here.
Yeah.
So basically I started training in martial arts when I was 7 years old. My dad took me along to a local Shotokan karate class initially. And I studied Shotokan karate for a good 14 years and achieved my second dan. And sort of during my teen years, wanted to get into more kind of tournament-oriented club as well. So then I started doing kickboxing, and that's when I started competing. And then later I started to study taekwondo, which I'm still studying now. And yeah, so ever since my first karate class, I was hooked into martial arts, and it's always been kind of a very big part of my life and a way of life. And more recently, I've started to study Tai Chi with Steve Rowe as part of the Shikan Tai Chi program. And occasionally I can study Wing Chun with Samuel Kwok as part of the Ip Man Wing Chun Association, which is really cool. So very different for me compared to sort of the karate, taekwondo and kickboxing styles that I've studied before. And then I've done other little bits with different instructors around the world. But yeah, so I started at a young age, and now martial arts, I think, has given me a great confidence. You know, my career path has come about because of studying martial arts. So it's allowed me to travel the world and compete, set different Guinness World Records, win multiple world titles, but also the job that I do now as well. It's allowed me, it's opened those doors for me in that sense. And I think it's given me the confidence to be able to do that. When I was a young girl, I was very shy and quiet, and you know, wouldn't be talking on a Zoom meeting or in front of a camera. I think martial arts definitely gave me that confidence in myself and abilities to go ahead and you know, follow my dreams, achieve them and become successful.
Yeah, excellent. Have you always had that competitive edge from when you were a young girl growing up? Have you always wanted to compete, and have you carried that into your acting career?
Competitive edge, because even in school, in sports, in netball or hockey or athletics or whatever it was that I used to do, yeah, I always wanted to win and do the best and be the best that I could be. So regardless of the sort of martial arts, I think I've always had that competitiveness about me. And I think my sisters have. I've got 3 sisters, and we're all very competitive in our sports and in our nature, really. So I think yeah, I think that's kind of really, you know, helped in certain ways. But yeah, I think when I started studying karate, when I started sparring and do the contact stuff, and when I was introduced to tournaments, I fell in love with that straight away. I really enjoyed the contact side of martial arts training. So as you know, as well as the many benefits, you know, confidence, fitness, health, well-being, you know, the self-defense aspects, the physical sparring element of it, I really loved. And yeah, really wanted to get into tournaments. And I think for many years, that was my main focus, just becoming an athlete and training like one, and then, you know, treating tournaments and competitions in that way. And I think that's what kind of gave me an edge, just the mindset of that, really. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think what I did in terms of kind of the stunt and film work that I do now, just took that experience from the sort of tournament circuit, that confidence and that performance experience and that training and that mindset into my career path now, which I think has really helped.
Yeah. And how did you first get your big break into the movies and change from an athlete to an actress?
Good question. And I think at the time I'd sort of been competing for many years, and I wasn't looking for a career path change or a sort of change in direction at the time, but I was approached in America when I was competing at a tournament, and there were some local producers and directors there that were part of I think it was kind of like an action star or the next action star type event that they were running within this martial arts tournament. So I didn't really kind of know exactly what was going on, but I just knew there was this other sort of division or category and this other event that was happening. And they sort of approached me afterwards and asked if I'd be interested in coming over to America for a few weeks, filming and taking part in a sort of low budget sci-fi independent film. I was like, I really just want to fight. But I went over and it was a fantastic experience. They looked after me. I thought there would be some kind of, you know, martial arts scenes or some fight scenes or something, some kind of action, and there wasn't. It was like a pure acting job. And I was like, okay, I was really bad, very nervous. The first kind of acting thing I've done outside of school, really, and drama at school and things like that. So, you know, my leg was shaking and I was like, oh my God, I've got to learn my lines and do all this kind of stuff. But I think once I came back to the UK, a lot of my friends in the martial arts industry and that were on the martial arts tournament circuit had already sort of were moving across to kind of stunts and performance related things and movies. And so I had a lot of connections already. And then I was like, you know what, I actually really enjoyed that, regardless of how bad I was in my very first thing. I really enjoyed the experience and the process of filmmaking. And I think then I was like, okay, so what can I do now? Now I'm back in the UK, and how can I sort of, you know, get better at doing this and find more work? So through the connections that I already had, I was recommended to different people, different stunt coordinators and things like that I didn't have at the start, and just kind of working on my craft. And a lot of jobs that I've been lucky to have done in the past have been incorporated sort of acting, but also martial arts, which is fantastic. So yeah, I get, like I said right at the beginning, martial arts has kind of opened these doors for me now in my career, not just as an athlete and not just for building confidence or, you know, self-defense and things like that, but yeah, it's sort of, you know, given me the opportunity to travel and find this career and this work.
Yeah. You've also done stunts in a lot of films like Macbeth and Morgan, and that. Do you prefer stunt work or acting on film? It's which side of the industry do you prefer?
I enjoy both, but for different reasons. Yeah. I don't know if I have a preference. I think if I probably, obviously I enjoy any sort of action sequence or stunt work. I love that, and that's, you know, sort of from the martial art training and upbringing and sort of lifestyle. That kind of comes second nature. So I really love that side of it. But the acting side I really enjoy because it gives me more of a challenge. It challenges, especially when there's, you know, sort of characters with different kind of backgrounds and story, and some characters and sort of roles can be quite in depth and be very interesting, and that kind of intrigues me, and that pushes me to kind of explore that sort of thing. So I really enjoyed that because that gives me a challenge. I love the stunt side because that's what I love to do. So it's, I mean, years ago I would have said the stunt side all day long, you know, martial arts acting, you know, that side all day long. But actually now, I really appreciate both, but for different reasons. But yeah, so I guess if there's a role that's, you know, a good character, a good story, good kind of, you know, history, background to the character, and there's some martial arts and stunts and, you know, that kind of stuff, and they're kind of blended together, then that's kind of an ideal role, I guess, for me. So yeah, but I enjoy both for different reasons.
Yeah, you have a new movie out this year, Travel, Get Out Alive, and you've actually acted as the lead and producer on the film. And how did you juggle both positions at the same time?
Tried my best. It was a little bit tougher than I thought it was going to be, because when you're a producer, especially on a low budget film, it's you're sort of problem solving all the time, and we had lots of restrictions and constraints with locations and time and obviously budget, and then I had to focus on my character and my role and the performance of that as well. So juggling the two was very hard, and it's kind of like swapping hats and in between scenes even. So it was very challenging, but I really enjoyed it. I love the challenge. So anything that kind of pushes me that I really enjoy. But at the time, it's quite stressful. And I think we did as much planning and preparation as we can for things that happen. You know, if there's a technical issue or, you know, things like this, and it can sort of delay things sometimes. But yeah, it was challenging, definitely.
And what advice would you give to young martial artists looking to move into the movie industry?
I think, you know, surround yourself, try and train and connect with people that are in the industry, that are successful, that are doing the roles and jobs and performance things that maybe you're interested in doing. Yeah. You know, get to speak to them, be professional, be polite, and get some advice, and you know, reputation precedes you. So you must be professional. You must be willing to work hard. It sounds very glamorous when you're sort of working on a movie set, but if you haven't been in that industry and you haven't done that before, it's actually can be quite challenging, quite grueling, quite demanding, and you have to be prepared for that. You need to be willing to work long hours and put the time in, and train. And I think, you know, sometimes martial artists kind of have a little bit of an ego. Not everybody, but usually there's a little bit of that sort of self-confidence. And I think you have to be willing, and you just need to kind of step back and listen. If you're working in a new profession and it's something you haven't done before, and you're trying to learn and get better at, then you need to take advice from the professionals and the curve. Every job that you do is a learning experience. Take the positives from that, and then you can see that progression. You'll get better every time. It's just like when you're training and you start at white belt and then you kind of progressing through the grades. It's the same kind of thing, you know. You have to learn a new craft, new way of doing things, take advice from people, listen, be professional, and just give it your best. And if it's something you really, really want to do, find a way to do it. Don't let people say no to you. I think in the sort of film industry, TV film industry, it's very cutthroat. There's a lot of no's, there's a lot of doors that are closed. And I think for me, the most important thing is having that self-belief and confidence in yourself just to keep going. So if there is a no and the door is closed, another door's going to open. You just have to have that confidence and keep pushing forward. Because it is quite a cutthroat industry. You got to work past that.
And finally, what does the future hold for Zara Phythian?
Well, let me look into my crystal ball. what I love to do. So my goal is, obviously I have my martial arts school, so which is going really well, and I think I'm always going to be connected to my school and my students in some way. You know, I have a fantastic instructor team here, which is great. So I want to make sure that the school stays successful, and we, you know, maintain that reputation and that good sort of training that we have here. And the students are incredible, changing lives, and, you know, giving people that confidence, and the opportunities that it's given me, I think I really want to pass on to my students and the people that I meet and train with. So that's important to me. Film-wise, I've got kind of the producer book, so we've produced Tribal. I've been acting and doing stunt work, so long online content that I'm doing at the moment, filming. I have my ZP Online Training Academy, so as well as my martial arts school, I've got sort of an online academy as well. I've got a new sports brand that's coming out, sort of a line of equipment and clothing. So lots of exciting stuff, and other movies come along in the pipeline as well. So some things that I'm going to be co-producing, and some things I'm going to be sort of acting in and performing in as well. So let's see what happens with the sort of COVID situation as to when they're sort of going to come about. But I think towards the end of this year, I'll be back filming again. And in the meantime, running my online courses in the academy, teaching and training martial arts, and growing my other businesses too. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can all move forward in the right direction.
Excellent. You like to keep busy. But,
yeah, a little bit.
Well, it was an honour to have you on. It was an honour to have you on, Zara. And before I let you go, I have got a nephew who is a massive fan and loved you in Doctor Strange. His name's Oren James, and I promised him I would ask you to say hello.
Awesome.
So.
Hi, Oren James. I hope you are. I'm glad you enjoyed Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was a fantastic movie to work on, working with like A-list actors, you know, Benedict Cumberbatch, Mads Mikkelsen, Tilda Swinton, Chiwetel, all these fantastic guys. There was a fantastic stunt department on there. In fact, all of the departments, whether that was, you know, wardrobe or makeup or catering, were all fantastic. So for me, it was a really great experience to work. And I took a lot from that, and it was really great. So I'm glad you enjoyed the film. It was good being a baddie for a change. Normally I get to play sort of good roles, but it was nice to kind of be the antagonist for a change. So that was really cool. But yeah, hi Owen, glad you enjoyed the film, and hopefully you can see more.
And thank you, Zara, and it was a pleasure, and all the best for the future.
Yeah, all the best to you as well. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Now.